Alrighty guys, it's time to grow some tomatoes. Let's get going. Starting our tomato seeds indoors. Now you can do this 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost date. So an easy way to find your last frost date is to go on the Farmer's Almanac and type in your zip code, and it'll pull up the last time your area will experience frost. Now you want to start them indoors so they can get a head start, and then put them out when your nights are getting up to around 55 and above. This is a great way to give them a jump start and get them ready for the season. So what you're going to need to do in the beginning with tomatoes is pick out your varieties. I'm growing the... Alright guys, so what you're going to want to do is to get your seeds out that you're going to be starting first. And to label this, you can either use the plant tags that stick out like this and you write on them, or I like to use a piece of paper and going left from right, the Brandywine red, San Marzano. That's how I like to do it. I don't want to really waste too much plastic with keep putting in each tag, so I think this way is easier. But again, to sow these seeds, you're just going to do the same method we did with the kale. You're going to want to make this small indent here with the back of a pencil or whatever. And see, that's a good little hole there. And there I have my seeds out here for my Brandywine red. So I'm just going to put these in my finger. They're kind of hard to grab, they're small, but... And just again, sprinkle 2 to 3 seeds into the hole. Just like that. Get the last one here. Again, 2 to 3 seeds sprinkled. You can see the seeds in there. I'm going to take the back of my pencil and just cover the seeds up and keep them moist with a spray bottle. And I will continue doing this with each variety of seeds. So then I'll move into the San Marzano because that was next, and I'll move into my orange Rossellini and then the cherry tomato seeds. And I'll have 2 extra spaces. I'm either going to fill those with the 2 mystery tomatoes, or I will start a whole another seed and then get 2 varieties of each. But I'm going to keep planting all these and let you know when we're done. Alright guys, so we're in the little indoor grow room, and we see some of the other seeds starting here. But it's now time for us to, with the other seeds, put our tomatoes here. It's warm, we have a heating pad under here, heating up the bottom of the tin foil, which will keep these roots warm. And we're going to let this stay for about a week or 2 before we start seeing sprouts and let them grow. Again guys, you want to keep them moist. Alrighty, so as you can see, the tomatoes have sprouted and have gotten pretty big here. Now we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tomato seedlings in 1 cup. Now that is way too many, they will suffocate each other. So now we want to talk about the next step, is called thinning out. You simply want to take the smaller seedlings and just cut them at the base. What this does is it allows the strongest plant to grow. So see, this one in the middle is the strongest. So I'm leaving him and I'm cutting out the others, and I'm just going to take them to the side here. And just snip at the bottom and cut them all out. Now, once you've done that, you can leave this plant, the big plant, in and let it keep growing. Or what you can do with these ones you cut out, we have 1, 2, 3 here cut. You can try to stick them in some water, which is because these things will, those little hairs will produce some roots. So try to stick them in water, and you have about a 50-50 shot of these rooting and growing again. So if you don't want to kill them, that's how you can try to save them. Alright guys, so we are now going to be potting up our tomatoes, and as you can see, they're very big here. And they're a little bit limp because I haven't watered them, they're a little dry. But they're going to be getting watered in their potting up video. It's about 60 degrees, a little cloudy though. It's been getting warmer. Freezes are kind of gone by now. There might still be a couple, but I'm still going to keep these guys inside until the temperatures get really warm. But we're going to need the pot up is, I'm just going to use these solo cups. I cut holes in each one so they'll drain. Solo cups are cheap and easy to use, so I like to use these and just drill holes. And you're also going to want dirt. So pretty much what I'm going to do here is I got a big bag of Miracle-Gro potting mix. You can use really any dirt you want. And I'm just going to scoop a cup full of dirt and fill all these cups with dirt. And I'll show you once I've done that. All of our cups filled up, and I'm just going to pre-moisten the soil. I have a hose here, so just gently go over all these cups and let them get wet all the way down. You want to really soak these. It's okay if some dirt spills out. I've overflowed them a little bit high with dirt, but you really do want to get these nice and moist. It helps the roots settle in, and it helps the soil settle and lose any air pockets. Now again, with tomatoes, you guys don't want to put them outside unless your nights are above really getting above 55, 60 degrees. So my nights are still getting in the 40s. So I'm not going to be able to put these outside yet. Maybe about another month until I can. But I just wanted to up pot them so they're bigger. I do have 12 tomatoes. 12 tomato seedlings. These are only 6. The other 6 have been potted up already. But these will be thanking me because they're pretty maxed out in there. And they're going to become little dwarf plants. So I don't want to stress them too much in that small trays. So we're just gonna keep doing this, guys. You want to really water thoroughly, and you can see the water starting to drip down from below. That means that they're draining. But you really want to make sure that this whole cup on the inside of it is real wet, real moist, and has water all over, so that way the plant can just use that water to drink, so there's no dry air pockets, because the dry air pockets are not good for the tomatoes. Now, also with tomatoes, guys, they are pretty tolerant to diseases, but again, you don't want to get the leaves wet when growing tomatoes, so try to water from the bottom of your cups, or just try to water so you don't hit the leaves, because if you get the leaves wet, you can develop blight, or like blight, some people say, but it's just kind of like, it kind of kills your tomatoes, that brown crackling on tomatoes, so that's not really the best for it. So I'm going to now label each one of these with a Sharpie, so I'll show you how I'm going to do this. Alright, so our cups are pretty moist and drained, and we have them labeled here. As you can see, this is a Dick's Cherry tomato, over here is a Goldie tomato, over here is a Bonnie Best tomato, if you can see that Sharpie. But now it's time to start to transplant these. So simply, if you want to take them out, whatever you're going to, I like to pinch the bottom and pull. I find works out really well, and look how nicely that has come out, and it's starting to get a little root bound here, so these will need to be up potted. Now I'm gonna set this down so gently. Now, one of the nice things about tomatoes is, if you can look, there's the really tiny hairs. Those can all turn into roots, so I can bury up the soil to up here to help it root out more, just by pinching off these are their first leaves they sprouted. So pinching these off, they don't really do much, they're gonna fall off naturally anyways, and then burying up my plant to about here into the soil. So I'm gonna make a huge hole, if I can just focus here, a huge hole into the dirt here. Make it pretty deep, because you know we're gonna bury it up, and you can see it's nice and damp in there. And I can add some water again, and just try to make sure you press out so it can fit. And we're gonna take our thing and drop it in there, and that's probably deep enough. Maybe we can go a little bit deeper. Deep in my fingers will let me go. That's perfect. Now just fill back over on top, fill around. You can see it's way higher, the dirt line is way higher, and those hairs will actually produce roots, so that's good. You can see there's water coming out the bottom of the drainage holes, and there you go. There's your first up-potted new tomato. I'm gonna go through and do this with every single one, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like and how we're gonna take care of these for the last phase of growing tomatoes. Now, some of these are really wilted and yellowing. They do need water and probably more nutrients, and that soil will help with that. So I'll come back once all these are done. All right, guys, we've potted up all 6 of our tomatoes into bigger, I guess, pots. I mean, if you want to compare what we had here, that's one versus that, way bigger, way wider. So it'll give these roots a lot of room to spread, and probably in about a month's time, we can pop these outdoors, and the roots will probably fill these up in about 2-3 weeks. So we'll be looking good time-wise. We have 6 others indoors right now under the grow light, but we're gonna again now just splash these with some water in each one, and then get them under the grow light or in a sunny window. I will update you guys again once the tomatoes are big enough and it's warm enough to go outside, and I'll show you how we're gonna plant these in the outdoors. So I'll see you guys when it's a little bit warmer and a little bit more sunny. All right, guys, it's time to put these nice tomatoes in. Now, we started all these from seed, and you can see they were getting real big and they outgrew their little cups. So I'm gonna show you what to do now, how to stake them, we have these things here, and how to plant them the most effective way so they'll get the most nutrients and grow the best. Let's get started. Alrighty, guys. So for tomatoes, you're gonna wanna give them a spot that gets 6 to 8 hours of sunlight. Now, these get filtered morning sun, as you can see, because I have this pine above me, which I'm gonna cut some of these branches back to let them get more sun. But these get about 6 to 7 hours. And they will grow. They'll grow a little bit slower and not fruit as much, but 6 to 7 hours is sufficient, but try to give them 8. They will thrive in 8. Okay, so now we get into the planting of tomatoes. It's simply like planting anything else. You're just gonna dig your hole and stick it in, I guess. That's really what you do when you really get down to it. So we're gonna start with our Bonnie's Best tomato here. Started from seed. As you can see, it's getting too big. It's starting to get stressed in that small little container. So one thing about tomatoes is they are a vine. Now, have you ever seen a vine grow? They grow everywhere, on the ground, up things, and I don't really want my tomatoes to grow on the ground because it gives diseases, and little critters will end up eating my tomatoes, and that's not what I want. So I'm gonna use these stakes. As you see, this is about a 5-foot stake, or 4-foot stake, my bad. You might need bigger stakes. I just didn't have any, so try to go for 6 feet stakes, but a 4-foot will work. These are 4-foot stakes I got at, I believe it was Home Depot or Lowe's for cheap. They were like $5 for like 10. So, I mean, it's good, it worked for me. And you're just gonna dig your hole and make it the size, or a little bit bigger than this. Well, for tomatoes, actually, yeah. Make your hole really deep, because I'm gonna bury the tomatoes up to here, because these will, again, these little hairs will root, as you've seen before. So I'm gonna bury my tomatoes deeper than I would bury my peppers, just to let them get established and to root. So just keep digging here. Dig a nice wide hole for it. Really break up a lot of these roots in here, because it will inhibit or prohibit the actual tomato from, you know, being able to spread out its roots. But as you can see, they kind of go away here. So let's just test with our cup once we get this last dirt out, see how deep we are. Get these roots out here. All right, so yeah, that's pretty good. We'll get it buried to around here. So something I like to do with my tomatoes that is, I guess it's common knowledge, but not a lot of people tend to do it, is use eggshells. I have a bag of eggshells I've been collecting here for probably about a month or two, every time I eat eggs. And what you want to do is you just want to crumble these eggshells up real nice, because what this will do is it will release calcium and will help feed the plant throughout the growing season. So just keep these broken up, and I like to just put a handful of, get some of these roots out here, a handful of eggshell in my hole. So let's open up here. Sorry for the shake. There are these nice eggshells. Take a handful, make them small, and just sprinkle them into the bottom of the hole like so. This will release nutrients to the plant. Slow release fertilizer. But yeah, so here's our plant, and we're gonna take this out by pinching the bottom, and then just pulling. Sorry, it's hard to do on camera with one hand, but just pinching the bottom, really squeezing that bottom tight, and pulling the tomato out like so. And as you can see, it's very root bound because it's all stuck like this, but it's okay. So put them up in the hole, nice and deep in there, good. Take our soil and cover them up. Now, you can also add, some people add fish to the bottom of it, and that will also work. So it just depends what you wanted to use. I've never done eggshells before. Well, I did it once, and I liked the way my tomatoes did, so this is the first year I'm doing it to all my tomatoes. But really just cover this thing and bury him in nice, and I can move my stake forward so I can stake him up as he grows a little taller. But yeah, that's how you pretty much plant a tomato once you grow it from seed. And yeah, that looks nice. So we got one tomato in. We still have to make labels for all these tomatoes. I'm just gonna leave the cups here. You also wanna make sure you label them, but you know, your soil's amended and everything like that. But yeah, so that's tomato 1. I'm gonna go through and do this to all these tomatoes. It's gonna take me like probably around 10 minutes, but I'll be back once I'm done that. Alrighty guys, so here are all of our tomatoes, all planted in. I have the cups out there just because I need to make some labels for them, as like I did over here. Just use some cups, but I'm gonna label these up. They're all in, they're all staked. It's a little overcast right now, but they'll be getting sun soon. And yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tomatoes, Brandywine Red, an Orange Rossellini, Goldie tomato, this is a San Marzano, Black Crim, some others, I don't even remember, but these were the 6 tomatoes we're growing at my house and a couple others around the property, but that's how we're gonna plant them.